Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I hope you're all doing very well. So I just watched The White Tiger. Let's talk about it. So The White Tiger is a Netflix film that is directed by Ramin Bahrani. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but this film is an adaptation of the book White Tiger, which is written by Aravind Adiga. This famous book centers around a character called Balram, who is an impoverished Indian man who lives in this village with his impoverished family, and he is trying to get out of this cycle of poverty. He is trying to find a way to be that white tiger, the once-in-generation innovator who is able to get himself out of these horrible circumstances and elevate his stature in society in order to better his life. This film brilliantly and fascinatingly explores not only the concept but also the impact of the Indian caste system, and this idea of determinism or destiny, and how the family that you are born into will very much impact the destiny that awaits for you in your life, and how restricting that can be for people who are born into impoverished families that are deemed as being lower caste. Now, I think what really impacted me on an emotional level at the beginning of this film is when we see Balram when he's much younger and he's in school learning how to read, and he's just so far ahead in comparison to his other school friends, and it just shows how much potential was lost and wasted when he wasn't able to go to Delhi and get a full education so that he can make something of himself. Instead, he was stuck at home having to work in order to make ends meet for his family, and it just really hammered home how much potential was wasted in him, because he could have been someone who could make something of himself using academia, using his merits, but instead he was so restricted based on his familial circumstances that he wasn't able to even try and do so. And you see the emphasis on the cyclical nature of poverty being represented by the other two generations that Balram lives with, that being of course his grandmother and his father, and we see the ultimate fate that his father meets after being worked to death, his entire life, and then not even being able to get proper medical attention after he gets tuberculosis. And it is just so heartbreaking, because this story is one that is told throughout the country, throughout the world, of impoverished people who are unable to escape that cycle of poverty and therefore meet their end in these horrible ways, even after having worked so hard to just put food on their families' plates. But at the same time, this film refuses to be basic, okay? In my opinion, this film refuses to be basic and predictable. It adds an added layer of complexity to these characters that don't just make them characters that we pity, okay, but don't just make them characters that we even sympathize with, but also characters that sometimes we disagree with vehemently at times, especially in the case of the grandmother, because even though the grandmother is incredibly poor, she's destitute, she's in this horrible situation, and objectively you can see that this woman has suffered, but at the same time there are moments in this film where you just wholeheartedly disagree with her. You disagree with the way that she's treated her grandchildren and manipulated them and restricted them in their lives, especially in the case of Balram's brother, and it's just heartbreaking to see how he's been stuck in this cycle and forced to be stuck in this cycle by their grandmother. So at the same time, whilst we do have a sense of pity or sympathy for these characters and their circumstances, they're also human beings which means that there's multiple facets to them, and some of those facets aren't very likable. And actually the same can be said for Balram himself. Now, I'm not going to sit here for a minute longer talking about this film without mentioning the incredible performance of Adarsh Gaurav. Again, I'm so sorry if I'm butchering his name, but the man was phenomenal. The man was fantastic, especially in the first half of the film where he is portraying this character, and he again is just a character that you very much sympathize with. You can see how he has been held back his entire life, even though he has the intelligence, he has the merit in order to go so much further with his life, but because of the circumstances that are completely out of his control, both cultural and also familial, he's just been stuck in this cycle of poverty until that fateful day where he decides to take his destiny in his own hands. And that is a result of a lot of coincidences, a lot of conveniences, sure, but he does take the opportunities that are presented to him, and as a result he ends up on the path that he does end up going through. But I just think that the actor does such a great job conveying all of the different facets of this character, because the character goes from being someone that you absolutely pity, feel so sorry for, to a character who you barely even recognize. He has been broken by the system, broken by how he's been treated by these other people, and therefore is forced to do things that he never could have imagined himself doing at the beginning of the film, at the beginning of his story, which is just fascinating to see. And I think the actor does a great job throughout. And whilst we're on the topic of performances, of course, you probably want to hear my thoughts on Priyanka Chopra Jonas. I think she's good. I think she's really good in the film. I don't think she's given much screen time in comparison to how much hype is surrounding her in this film. I think it's mostly because she's a producer on the film. I think the fact that she is a producer on the film is why she's been getting so much praise for it, not really because of her role in it, because it's quite minuscule. But I will say that it is great to see an Indian actress of such caliber, of such fame and popularity around the world at this point, highlighting such an important story and such an incredible film. I think the fact that she is associated with this film is what has gotten it so much more attention in comparison to, you know, many other Netflix releases that just go by the wayside. And it's just great to see, and it's important for the world at large to learn about. And I think it makes all the difference to have a name like that, even though she's not as prevalent in the film and her performance is good, serviceable, but she's not really the star here. The star is the main the star is the main lead. Okay, let's be real. But I still think that it's great that she's attached to the project because it does bring eyes to it. And then you also have Raj Kumar Rayo. Again, I hope I'm not butchering these names too badly, but he's apparently a very big deal in Bollywood, although this is the first time that I've seen a performance of him. But I have seen people say that he's much better in other films, and I'm going to have to take their word for it because, again, I haven't seen much of him at all. I would say that he was fine here, like he was pretty good, but I do still think that the star of the show very much was Adarsh Gaurav, who was just absolutely incredible. I also very much wanted to commend the film for the clever metaphors that it uses throughout. To my understanding, these metaphors are actually directly taken from the book, which definitely makes sense, but they are utilized in the film very, very well. Of course, you have the metaphor of the white tiger, which actually makes an appearance in the film, so it was very on the nose there, but still it was a touching moment. But the white tiger represents that one person who is able to break the cycle of poverty and escape their circumstances, the circumstances that they were born into, in order to create a better life for themselves. And here, Balram has to be that white tiger, and he kind of knows this from the very beginning. He has that instinct that he's not the same as the others in his community and indeed in his family. And I think that's really interesting to see. Now, personally, and this kind of gets into the parts of the film that I would have preferred to see a bit better, I think we could have better explored this individualistic mentality that this character has, which is quite a huge contrast to the collectivist society that he lives in. I think we could have better explored this individualism that we usually witness in Western countries and Western society, like the US and the UK, as opposed to the collectivism that we usually see in countries like India and China and in a lot of countries in Africa. Because the film overall, through this metaphor of the white tiger, very much has that message of every man for themselves. Like every man for themselves, you know, if you can make it, then good for you, everyone else be damned. And I have mixed thoughts on this, especially when we get to the end of the film where, you know, certain things happen and he doesn't seem to quite reconcile with the severity of what's happened, especially when it comes to his family. He seems to very much be single-minded on himself, and, you know, I have a few issues with it. Perhaps it's just the portrayal of a complex character who's not necessarily always likable, or perhaps it's because the film kind of rushes at the end and it doesn't really fully reconcile with the severity of what's happened, and especially what he's done to his family, potentially. So whilst I very much enjoy the presence of the metaphor of the white tiger, I wish we could have explored that a little bit more, especially because it's a very individualistic mindset that exists in a collectivist society. And I do think that overall the message of the film seems to suggest that the individualism is inherently better, or at least better in order to succeed financially, than the collectivism, but I don't think that fully represents the scale of the argument and the complexities of this argument. Another metaphor that is used in order to represent the trapped nature of the impoverished in India is, of course, the roosters in a coop. The roosters that can see their fellow roosters being slaughtered, but they don't do anything about it. They don't do anything in order to escape their destiny. And throughout the film, we see how Balram takes measures in order to ensure that his destiny is more secure. Like, he wants to escape the rooster's coop. And it's really interesting to see how, even though there are moments where he does become trapped in this situation, where he does become, you know, invested in pleasing his master, when he does snap out of it, he takes measures into his own hands in a way that a lot of the other roosters, or, you know, servants, or people who are just very poor and desperate and destitute aren't able to. Now, again, I do wish that this metaphor could have been handled with a little bit more nuance, because I don't think it's as simple as either you know, eat or get eaten, even though that's the message of this film. I do think that there are more nuances to it. I mean, after all, as the film says itself, there are thousands of castes in traditional Indian culture, and it seems to me that they wanted to kind of condense that into the haves and have-nots, which simply does not reflect the complexity of this scenario, the complexity of Indian culture and how different castes are treated in Indian society. Overall, I very much enjoyed this film. It was so eye-opening. The performances were excellent, especially the lead. I think it's a fascinating look into Indian culture and aspects of Indian culture that are so entrenched in the country that it's impossible for some of these impoverished people to escape and make something of themselves. But we don't just see the poor sides to India. We also see the ultra rich. We also see these wealthy people who are able to truly just amass so much capital for themselves to the point where they've created a whole new sector of an Indian city that is basically their version of Silicon Valley. Like, you just see the disparity there when it comes to wealth, and you see how the haves treat the have-nots and how the have-nots are forced to take on these horrible living conditions, these awful tasks and duties, all with a smile on their face in order to please their masters, for fear that they will be kicked out and forced into homelessness with no way out. This film also brilliantly touched on the topic of corruption and how it can really damage the most impoverished communities in a country. It was so heartbreaking to see the people of these communities supporting a politician who they believe is standing up for them, standing up for their rights and standing up for a better future for them, only to find out that this politician, of course, is corrupt and taking, you know, payments, taking hush money from these rich business people, these rich people who rip off the poor people in these communities so that they don't have to pay tax that would ultimately go back to the poor people in order to somehow better their lives. And in a year where we've seen so many different effects and impacts of the wealth disparities that exist in every single country on this planet, this film couldn't have come at a better time, especially considering that last year we had Parasite, which again opened up our eyes to a lot of the impacts of the wealth disparities that are experienced in South Korea. Here we have this kind of Indian version that is no less relevant. And so with all of that being said, I'm going to be giving The White Tiger an 8 out of 10. So that's it from me. Now that I told you guys my thoughts on The White Tiger, it's time for you guys to let me know what you thought of this film down in the comments below. Please be sure to subscribe to catch new videos coming up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!